Hello everyone, I'm Atoma and joining me is Davai Lama, and we're going to be doing a tier list for the offlaners for the new patch that just dropped in. And first I want to thank you so much, Davai Lama, for being here. It was amazing. On short notice, I sent you the message today. I was like, do you want to join in? And you said yes. We're able to get this up in a couple hours, so thank you so much for being here.
No worries. Yeah, I love talking about heroes. I love talking about nerdy stuff. You're
and
welcome.
and I also want to thank Harry Freak for getting me in touch with you. I asked Harry Freak, I was like, "Can you find me the handsomest professional offlaner right now?" And
Yeah.
he, uh huh,
Well, I consider the Harry Frick, basically like the first ever team I played on. He was on that team.
oh,
Like 5 years ago, I think.
yeah,
It was funny. We didn't do that well, but we won some open qualifier games in the TI qualifier. We had fun, and I enjoyed him as teammates. So couldn't say no to him.
he's a nice guy. But when I told him I want the handsomest professional player, he didn't get me Ace. He got me you, which is good. But I was like,
Of
come
course,
on.
of course.
All right, thank you so much for being here. So what we're going to be doing is we have the ranking for the offlane heroes. What we think, and I'm going to ask you what you think about them. If they're good, they're bad. Whether you want to rate them as a pub hero or pro hero, up to you. I might
Yeah.
also
So
give
the tier list is just like mixed pro or pub. It's
exactly.
definitely two different things.
Yes, but let's make it more pubby. Let's sort of because I think a lot of people who watch this will be
Okay.
pub players.
All right.
Um,
Yep.
And I also might give a little bit of info about the heroes if there's a lot of changes to it, so people because some of the heroes did get a lot of big updates. Um,
Mhm.
Before we start, I want to ask you: do you have anything in the past that you saw that was like this is the biggest change, this is going to change the game, or two or three things that you think are extremely big changes?
When it comes to generally the patch,
Mm.
not just hero pool, I think the Tormentor is really big, and the
Yeah.
fact there's no more outposts.
Yep.
Like the new creeps and everything, and the fact that there's water everywhere
Mm.
is like it's kind of cool, I guess. But like, what does it actually do? Like,
Mm.
not much, right? Like these new creeps are just creeps, and the water is just water. Like, yeah, it's no glow ground, so you have no potential to
Mm.
place wards and ways to take team fights. But like, yeah, it doesn't do much. The biggest thing is like the Tormentor being up at minute 15, and
Mm.
they're no longer being outposts. Especially if you look at some of the pro games in green, like the meta is already like very different. Right now,
Yeah.
it's like minute 15, you gotta group for this Tormentor, because this
Mm.
Tormentor is super heavily contested, because it also gives gold now, so
Mm.
that's like the biggest change. It's the no more outposts on the side, and the Tormentor, yeah.
Hmm. I hope. Please let me just before we go in that I want to ask you this. I also thought the change to the wisdom runes was a big one. Where now, because before, if you're like a nature's prophet or a bounty, you can go in, pick it, especially if you're ahead, and suddenly your sports are level 6 and their sports are 4.5. Now I have to channel it for 3 seconds. It's much harder for me to like sneak and take it. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
exactly. I
Mm.
like the change. It's much harder to sneak it. Like,
Mm.
if you want to get this wisdom, you need to bring enough heroes so you can actually win a fight there.
Yeah.
Because if you can't win the fight, there's no way you're snatching it. Because you cannot just like take it and leave. Like snatch it and leave. You're gonna have to like fight for it. It's an objective point.
Mm.
It's like the orbs in Overthrow, or I don't know, yeah, like a command point you're capturing. I think it's a good change, and
Yeah.
and, and and it's still possible to snatch them, but like you need to bring more heroes, and you need to like also manage to defend your own if you go for enemy. So I think it's a very good change.
I agree. I thought the same thing. All right, but now let's begin on the heroes and let's talk about them and see what they are. So first, we're gonna go with the first one on the list is going to be Axe. Axe does one more base damage, irrelevant. His Battle Hunger does 5% more slow at max level. His Culling Blade has 20 seconds less cooldown at the beginning, but ends up the same. But in return, Counter Helix does. Oh my god, we're off camera. Counter Helix does slightly less damage. Is that. Where does that put us in? Is that good or bad for the Axe?
The biggest change to Axe is actually not written on the Axe change.
Mm.
That is the nerf to Sanjin Yasha.
Ah.
Like Sanjin Yasha has side resistance, one of the most broken items of the patch in recent history, went from 25 to 20%, and that doesn't sound like that much,
But
but
20%.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
5% makes a big difference.
Mm.
It's like when it comes to call, it's like 0.1 second maybe.
Uh.
Not sure if I can do the math, but like in the end,
Mm.
those very small numbers, they do matter. Because like
Yes.
Sanjin Yasha, I think if Sanjin Yasha didn't give star resistance, Axe would be really strong right now in the
Mm.
patch. But it's just really hard because like Axe Axe has a bit of a rough lane. Once he gets to his timings, he can like kill almost anything.
Mm.
Um, but Yeah, his strongest spell is Berserker Skull, but because it's one of the lowest cooldown BKB piercing disabled. It's
Uh,
really really strong, but like the fact that Sanji Yasha just like shortens it by that much makes it kind of rough for Axe to play in the patch. But now with that nerf,
mm.
coupled with these buffs, like his laning should be a decent amount stronger. The Battle Hunger buff, one extra damage.
It,
Also, Culling Blade having less cooldown is nice.
mm.
So if you miss the Culling Blade, or you miss the last hit, but you still get the kill, you're gonna have it sooner.
So
So
where are we putting Axe? Do we think he's good hero or what? Like S A B C D? Where does he fall
yeah,
in?
if you say SABDC, I would put him somewhere in C now. Maybe he was D last patch, but
Mm.
now he could be in C. And if you're in pub tier, maybe even higher than that, because in pub tier, it's not that easy for in pub tier to for like a bit lower level pubs to like contest his stacks that easily, or
Mm.
like to stop him from farming his blade mail blink. It's easy to get pickups as well in lower tiers. So if you're talking about like low tier, it's probably an A tier hero right now
Ah.
with these buffs.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. I always feel like that. We even see that, right? In like if you go to Dota buff or anything, some heroes have 53% win rate in Herald and then 45 in Immortal, where it's like one
There's always
split. Yeah.
big differences, exactly, yeah. And I
Uh,
think in lower MMRs, Axe is probably a very good hero right now.
okay, but we're still gonna put him. We are gonna assume that this is like roughly pretty skilled players watching it, watching this. So we're gonna put him in C, like you said, and we're gonna go next.
That works.
Sorry.
That works.
Okay. Next one is Bristleback. So Bristleback, so he got nerfed, which is that Quill Spray doesn't lifesteal from Bloodstone, from what I understand. A couple
Yeah.
of mana changes as well, those are bad. But Warpath is better, because before, when you used to use Warpath, I can't see you if I'm like a support and you're Bristleback. I don't know where you're on the map. Now I can at least know where you are, even if you can't
Yeah,
see me.
I mean that's a pretty small change in my opinion. Well, at least in high level, because when I used Warpath,
Mm,
you're usually you're gonna lose vision, so you're usually just
mm.
going for a kill. You're gonna get. It's a small buff
Pub.
to when you use it,
Yeah.
but the other nerve is so big that I think you just don't go for this fast anymore.
Ah.
I think for me it's hard for me to justify going for this for seeing red right now, because you cannot buy bots anymore.
Wait, you can't buy
And
what?
like the
Yeah.
Axis
Oh.
nerf. Yeah. I mean, you could buy Bloodstone, but
Mm.
it will not do anything. It's literally useless now to buy Bloodstone on Bristleback, and that was like the whole power spike of Bristleback. I mean, you could play like Bristol with red, farm stacks,
Mm.
get Axe without the Bloodstone, but it's a lot weaker.
Yeah.
And if you know you're not gonna buy Bloodstone, I think you just go for the Snot Rocket.
Mm.
Like the minus armor, the better lane. You can still even buy an Axe on Snot Rocket, and it will actually do more damage if you get some. If you cast a Hairball, you'll have more minus harm, and you'll do more damage with the Axe. Um, this hero was like one of the strongest heroes of last patch, right?
Yes.
Because you could play both faster. You could choose if you wanted to go Snot Rocket, or if
Mm.
you wanted to go Seeing Red and buy the Axe and just play with Quills, or run around and goo people.
Mm.
Now you could probably only like run around and goo people. But the hero's still very good at that. And honestly, I think that was the best way to build Bristleback.
The Gooing way.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Um.
last patch, it was definitely like an A tier hero,
Mhm.
if not S. Now I'd say he is around B, I
Oh.
would say, because he's still a very strong hero with Goo, maybe even A.
Do we? I remember. I like what you're talking about, because I remember near the end of the patch, we were also seeing people go for like the pipe with the Vanguard and like a bit more auras, and not going for the Bloodstone build. Do you think that's going to become more meta now?
Oh yeah, because like Bloodstone is you can't buy
Mm.
Bloodstone anymore. Like
Mm.
the only way to play Bristleback is you go Snot Rocket, and with Snot Rocket, the nice thing is you can buy whatever you want.
Yep.
You can go Crimson Guard, you can go Pipe. All this hero really needs is just some tankability and a shard.
Right.
And then he walks around versus Goo. He gets damage out of his ass, from Warpath. The hero is still kind of stupid in my opinion. And you can just buy whatever you want. So yeah, people will buy Pipe, people will buy Crimson. The new Halberd's probably gonna.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's one. I imagine in the like next couple of weeks we will see which items are really good and which ones aren't. I know people are
Mhm.
saying the new Gleipnir is amazing for supports to buy because it's cheaper and it's an AOE disable. We'll find out. But yeah, for now, Bristleback he goes into the B tier, right? B for Bristleback.
Yeah, sounds
Ready?
alright.
All right, B for Bristleback. I'm doing this as we move around. All right. Next one is Centaur. So Centaur, if I believe his double edge fast is better. You need less damage to get that maximum. But other than that, seems like nothing. Tiny, talent level 10 is a little bit worse. Retaliate's reflection, so it doesn't work with Bloodstone. I didn't even think that was a thing. As where is Centaur? I feel like he wasn't really changed in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like the change, the change
Mm.
on the Counter Strike Fest is interesting.
Yeah.
I played against Nicholas earlier today.
Mm.
He played +4 Centaur with the Facet, and he did a lot of damage.
Mm.
But he also does a lot of damage to yourself. So that's not good. I think if you play offlane, like I just saw a Gaming Gladiators ace played some Centaur, he just went for the horsepower facet, the
Hmm.
12 movement speeds. And I think that is mostly the way to go. If you, the way to go if you play Centaur right now.
Okay.
It's very nice that you don't have to buy boots, so you can get a lot of movement speed from your strength. So I think that's still the way to play it. So it basically didn't get changed. His movement speed sounds, 5 less movement speed.
Eh.
Like not
Whatever.
much. I think the hero is still a bit like a solid C hero.
Solid C hero.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
would say this is very situational,
Mm.
but good if the game demands it. If you're playing against a sniper or a drow ranger, some heroes that really dislike playing against blade mail and hate getting jumped on top of with the stampede and blink. The hero is still very good.
Yeah, I didn't feel like he wasn't changed much, but the next one did get some pretty big changes. Firstly, Dawnbreaker. Now there's a lot to go with her, but I think
Mhm.
there's like two big things. One of them is the fastest. One of them is the Agnum Scepter. Because I don't know if you played a lot of Dawnbreaker, but I play as a support, and one of the worst things
Mhm.
about the Ag Scepter is that I want to be in the air, but I also want to land and take off, BKB people, like waste some of their time.
Get the stun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was a problem because you were like 6 seconds of evasion is amazing and extra heal, but landing and canceling, 2 seconds of BKB is also really good. So
Mhm.
the Agnum Scepter feels like a big buff to me. Do you agree or do you disagree?
No, I disagree. I think the evasion was made the items really broken.
Okay.
The fact that you could just cross it, you'd be out of the fight,
Mm-hmm.
and you would give the evasion, and then you would just always have to like you could never kill anything unless you had a bloodthorn or an MKB. The
Ah,
60% evasion is just too much.
okay.
Um, the new one, it could be good in scenarios too, though.
Yeah.
Like you get the stun out a lot quicker, and you still keep channeling, like the healing and the damage.
Yep.
So I could see it having a use.
Mm.
But overall, like the evasion being gone is a big hit to the axe. Because I think that was really what made it broken.
You
Does
could
it still give extra healing, by the way?
I think you get more you pulse more or something like that, but no, your healing is reduced actually. You get slightly less compared to before.
Yeah.
So it's not you definitely heal
Yeah,
less, but it's a small nerf there.
it's a small nerf. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can land earlier, and then if you land earlier, you still keep healing.
Yeah.
Well, you have to land earlier. But overall,
Mm.
definitely nerf to the axe build.
Mm-hmm.
I think you probably don't want to build this axe too much, because that was the whole point behind this axe. That like every time, like they jump one of your teammates, you press
Yep.
the axe and they kind of die. Now that you no longer give evasion, I mean, still a lot of healing though. I'm sure I haven't seen an action yet. It could very well be good,
Yep.
like you say. Like you might be right, but I have to go over my gut and say that's like a nerf.
Mm.
And the hero used to be like S or A for sure.
Mm.
Right now, I don't think it can be S anymore. The fact that it doesn't give evasion,
I like how
so it's either mid A or uh, yeah, probably something like that, mid A.
I like when we see it differently because one other point I would do want to add because like when we're having because I really do agree with you. I think the evasion is a big deal, but we could also say that now that you land early, you can also use whatever defensive items you have to help your team. So it's like you could land,
You press
throw
pipe
up,
the earlier.
yeah, throw up the pipe, throw up a crimson. If you have an aura, you can help people. I don't think it like counteracts the evasion, but you're also actually in the
Mhm.
fight, not just you have the aura
Mhm.
and you're in the fight. So,
Mhm.
uh, but I do see your point that it could be a nerf for the hero overall.
Mhm.
What about any of the new facets? One of them is the Trailblazer and the Star Surge. So Star Surge is that when you use your Starbreaker, you give people and yourself attack speed, and Trailblazer is movement speed for you and your allies.
Yeah,
My checking on the numbers seems like Trailblazer has a huge win rate. Is that the facet that you think is the best?
it could be. It is a lot of movement speed. Does it work with the slow fast? It probably doesn't. I mean, the slow town on level 10.
No,
It
no, it
doesn't give
doesn't.
extra movement speed, I
It
imagine. Yeah,
remains
no.
25.
I mean, 30% is a lot, but
It's a lot.
25. I mean, 25 still is a lot of movement speed.
Mm,
It could very well be decent.
mm.
A Star Surge, the attack speed seems nice, but 4 seconds is really short. You don't really right click that much on Dawnbreaker after you press your Q,
True.
so I think Solar Charge will probably still be the way to go.
Yeah.
Like reducing your cooldowns by 1 second every time you crit is pretty nice. You get a lot more spells when
Um,
you're fighting.
yeah.
Especially if you're really snowballing and you get to right click, you have a lot more spells in fight.
Yeah, I've always felt the same way, but I do look forward to losing Trailblazer. But for now, we did a lot of Dawnbreaker. You said mid A. I feel like that's also fair. So, oh man, I have to
Hmm.
do this every time. Dawn is A. All right, next one. We are looking at Doom. So Doom, he got quite a bit of changes, but I feel like most of them don't change too much. Like Gluttony, 5 seconds less cooldown. Impending Doom, the fast doesn't do less damage. Doom, and overall, feels very much the same. Please correct me if I'm wrong. How do you feel about Doom?
So I think he did get a small nerf,
Mm,
and that is that like the Doom does less damage. It's 5 damage less per second, but
true.
on a 14-second spell, that is quite significant.
Yes.
That means that what is that? It's like 90 less damage from Doom, and that can a lot of time make it be the difference between getting killed or not. So
70, some would say.
yeah, you're right. 70, sorry. But 70 still is like a decent amount.
True.
And I think in a lot of cases, you're not going to be getting kills that you would in the past have gotten.
Mm,
And the Infernal Blade nerf doesn't seem that big. But level 1 Infernal Blade was really strong.
yeah.
Because it used to do like 80 plus 4% of the enemy's HP, which
Mm,
would amount to like 90 to 100 damage
mm-hmm.
for level 1 spell. It was really, really strong.
And very low
People would
mana
just get level 1
cost.
Infernal Blade and
Mm,
trade. And now it will do like 20 less damage.
mhm.
So also significant.
And,
There's also the drum change. The pro bet on Doom was to just get the Devil's Bargain facet
mhm.
and just sell your drums repeatedly. Like you would be able
Ah.
to sell your drum for very little loss and buy a new one, and then refill all the charges. Now drum doesn't have charges,
But it's weaker.
so there's no reason to sell it. I mean, it's a bit weaker, exactly.
Mm,
So the drum abuse for Devil's Bargain is no longer possible. There's also a bit of nerf to that facet.
mm,
They did, however, buff the Gluttony again. I think that facet has like some real potential.
true.
Maybe even impending Doom. Like your Doom becomes a lot longer in a lot of late games, so that might actually be a valid facet too.
Yeah.
I like the Gluttony one. Having two Devour charges
Mm.
makes it so you can just eat a lane creep or eat a catapult, and then still have a charge for like when you want to eat a good neutral creep to get the spells.
It.
Also upgrades the neutral spells.
Mhm.
So some neutrals have like spells that do really get a significant upgrade, like the Mana Burn creep, the Sage and Mind Stealer, or the Harpy. There's that level 2 does a lot extra damage.
Yeah, I know. 180. And that's really good.
Exactly.
I also want to go back. One of the nice things about Gluttony was that before, when you were cooled down on, like, if you don't have Gluttony, it goes, Devour's available, I have to go use it. Any second I'm not using it, I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, it filled up. I can wait 40, 30 seconds. It doesn't matter. Like, it makes you more efficient because you're not wasting time ever.
Mhm.
Which is, I don't know how big of a thing that is for pro players.
I think
Hmm.
I think pro players a lot of the time, like Devil's Bargain was still a bit more fixed. The cooldown was significantly longer. At first it was 90 seconds instead of
Yes.
70. So it's a 20-second long cooldown.
Mm.
And you're not really dying that often when you play Doom. You're kind of playing
Mm.
safe, playing off your timings. You're not really dying that much. So you would get a little bit less efficiency from it. But now that it's only 10 seconds longer, I feel in general you will get more efficiency from it. Because then
100%.
you can just keep your Devour for like the bigger creeps, right? You don't have to like devour every small creep.
Mm.
You can just wait for the big creeps
Yeah.
while you build up the charges. And another thing is the level 10 talent. That Devour grants 15% magic resistance.
Mm.
You can actually have you can devour two creeps at the same time, and you can have double the magic bonus. So that's also significant.
I did
And
not
you
know
can have
that.
extra. Yeah, I just played a pup today on Doom with Gluttony, and I ate two creeps, and I checked my mattress, and it was like 55% magic resistance. Like, wow,
What? I
that's
did.
nice.
Oh shit! Because I always thought, oh, you get the bonus, but it's like only if you have the Devour. Now it's two separate ones. Holy crap!
Yeah, I
Uh,
believe so.
oh,
I believe so.
all right, that's really cool. All right. I don't want to. Again, we have a lot of heroes, so we can't spend like as much time as I wish we could on every here. But Doom, where does he fall? He still seems pretty good. He still seems like he's Doom, and he does the Doom things.
Yeah, I do think that the hero's a bit slow, however, in like and everything but like professional tier. Professional tier, the
Mm,
hero has very strong timings, then
yeah.
you might wake up. But the hero feels off to play pubs, even for me. So
Mm.
I would put it in B or C. Like either low B or high C
All right, you know
personally.
what? Since I'll put him. I like Doom, so I'm gonna put him in B. Is that right?
That's fair. That's
Thank
fair.
you. All right, next one is gonna be Legion Commander. So Legion Commander, her changes are, oh yeah, she has a tiny bit more strength. What else? The press the attack is no longer on the duel automatically. You have
Mm.
to take the Spoils of War facet to get it, which makes it
Yeah.
a lot better. But I know that people prefer the other facet, which is the one that you get the armor. So not armor, sorry, the barrier. So
Yeah.
how has Legion Commander changed in this patch?
It's hard for me to read. I haven't played myself. I
Mm.
see that the win rate went down a little bit
Mm-hmm.
across all tiers. Maybe that's because people are taking the over facet now. I do think you need to take the Stonehold Plate facet.
It's better.
That's the only way you really win the lane
Mm.
because you need the barrier to manage to like really build an advantage during the lane and snowball. That's what Legion needs. Mm. The mana cost on overwhelming odds is nice. If you're in the lane, like 90 mana for overwhelming odds is not much. You're gonna be able to spend this a lot.
Yeah,
But the change that you can, yeah, that you don't get the press the attack anymore when you duel someone is a pretty big nerf, in
it
my
is.
opinion. One strength is nice.
What else is there? She also has a penalty when she attacks creeps because of the new lifesteal rules. That's also
Yeah, that's well, that's well. Like you lose 40,
oh,
you lose 40% of
lifesteal.
the lifesteal.
Uh,
Yeah, and the hero also relies on that. So overall, I think the hero got nerfed, and the hero wasn't already very good to begin with.
mm-hmm.
So I would definitely put it low in C or maybe even D.
Ooh,
But I do think that the hero is pretty decent in especially in lower tiers.
yeah.
In Pro Dota, I would almost never pick this hero. I think this hero is pretty dog shit. But
Mm.
in
I
some rare scenarios against Bristleback, maybe it could be playable.
I feel like she's a C in pubs, right? Because like you were saying, when
Yeah.
no one's not coordinated, you get a blink, you jump, you start getting those dual kills with a blade mail. You
Mhm.
get 120, 140, and suddenly you can kill anyone on
Mhm.
the map. I feel like, but you're right in that she doesn't feel very strong as well, and she's definitely nerfed. So we're gonna put Legion Commander in the
Mhm.
C tier because we're nice guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh, C tier, poor Legion. I didn't think she'd get out. I didn't think she'd go that low. Oh, poor thing. All right, next one is Mars. Now, Mars, Arena of Blood, the facet, the Victory Feast, now gives everyone half the healing and mana that they get, because I think he gets something like 30% if he kills people.
Yeah.
Um,
It's quite a lot.
the Innate, I think, is better as well. Quite a bit better, but only for himself. And that's kind of it. So, how do you feel
Mhm.
about him?
I think one
Mm,
one change that is also not mentioned is the Wisdom and Lotus change, where you need to keep control of the area. And Mars is one of the. There's not that many heroes that have displacement spells.
that's true.
So Mars is probably one of the best heroes in the game right now to steal Wisdom runes and Lotuses.
Mm-hmm.
When you're fighting head to head with Lotus, even if you can't fully kill the enemy, you can just
Zone him
fear
out.
them out or
Uh,
rebuke them away, and you can steal a Lotus or the Wisdom. So that is a significant change as well to the hero.
ah. All right, and the radius thing. I like the radius thing because I remember before I always felt like 2,000 radius as a support, and if I had Mars, I'm always in his radius, and he's not getting the benefit of the innate.
Hmm.
Like 900 though, it's like if I go and contest the camp or whatever, he'll
Yeah, and
get
he
the
gets
benefit.
gone on,
Yeah,
he'll get the region. And he has Tango Eating, instead of getting 9 region,
hmm
he'll get 14 region or something.
yeah. So
He'll be.
I thought that was that was like pretty good for him, and the fact that it only affects him is good because, you know, that's okay. I
You
didn't
never
need.
get a assume, like,
Yeah,
because you're never like playing as two. I mean, maybe if you get 3-man yanked or something, but yeah, as a support, you would never benefit from that. Indeed.
no, you know what happens when the region kicks in? You're like, oh shit, we're gonna die because their mid is right here. So
Yeah.
that's how I usually felt. But yeah, it seems like these are nice changes.
Hmm.
He seems better. Before I put him in tiers, I want to ask you though: is it actually worth taking Victory Feast as a facet now, or do we still with the?
I I don't know. I think it really depends on the heroes you're playing against. If the enemy has saves, I think you should still go for the blood support. Like the fact that the enemy do not get vision is
Mhm.
really is still really big. It can make difference between them being able to save or position this as well around the arena.
Yeah, like if they get Oracle, you don't want Victory Feast no matter what.
Yeah, you always get blood support, or you
Yeah.
never shadow demon or an abaddon. Then blood support is still really really good.
Yeah.
But if the enemy has like a Zeus,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like Zeus, for example, always get vision of
True.
what's inside the arena. He will just thunderbolt or a Venomancer. Heroes that will get there's a lot of heroes that get vision, and heroes that don't really save their allies. And I think Victory Feast is
Bible.
probably just a lot better right now. Yeah,
Ah.
like you get a kill, and then your allies heal, get extra damage. It's really nice.
Oh. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, so where do we put Mars? Where is he? Is he what are we from S
So
two?
I would have put him in C last patch.
Mm.
Right now, he's either high C or very low B.
Mm. I
I
feel
would
like
probably put him in C still. I do not think the change is that big. Maybe I'm underestimating how much the Lotus changes impact him.
mm.
And all the other heroes got nerfed as well. So even though it's like he got buffed a little bit, and most strong heroes got nerfed, so maybe he's like low B. Maybe
I put him in
I'll leave it
C.
up to you.
I put him in C. I feel like I agree with you. I want to see him a little bit more in the pro scene, and then we'll decide. But he does
Yeah.
feel C-ish at the moment.
hmm
All right, let's go to next one is Night Stalker. So Night Stalker, he lost the blinding void facet. Instead, he has Voidbringer added, which is Void becomes a level 5 ability. At level 5, it does 400 damage, has 4 seconds
hmm
nighttime duration, and becomes AoE. Uh, what else is there? He's got some changes into his talents, but overall, how do we feel about it? How do we think about Night Stalker with this new Voidbringer?
I think the hero is S,
Okay,
and
all
I
right.
think it's the other facet. You get 100 the night,
Uh-huh.
level 1 basically. It's like you
For
have
free.
your level 2 at level 1 with
Oh
100 the
shit.
night. I see the hero's winner didn't increase that much, but I think that's because people are going for the Voidbringer facet, and this facet is a bait. I think
Uh-huh.
you're sacrificing your early lane to get an AoE spell, which you can't really use because you don't really buy mana regen,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just completely sacrificing your laning stage for it. So I doesn't seem that good to me.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Hunter of the Night, now you get level 1 Hunter of the Night,
For free.
and you're only you only get 5 attack speed less than you used to. So you can just get you can get Void or Crippling Fear level 1
Mm.
and have the passive. So you're just at level 1, you were already the strongest hero on the map with just your passive. Now you're as strong as 2 heroes at the same time, and I think his laning stage now is even more ridiculous than it used to be.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm looking at I get again, I would like I'm not offlaner, so that's why I'm so glad you're here. I look at it and you're like, oh shit, you start with 16% extra movement speed. I know 50% attack speed is also nice, but being able to just move faster with no skill points at just 60% movement speed for
Mm,
free seems it, and movement speed is one of those things that's very hard to increase in Dota. So having it for free seems very bonkers.
yeah,
Uh, I've,
the attack speed as well. It's a lot.
it's yeah, it goes
You
up
almost
to
you almost yeah, you used to get aura level. You used to get the passive level 1
mhm.
when you go that facet because the attack speed and movement speed level 1 would be too much to pass up on. But now you get it for free and you can get your nuke level 1. You can
Yep.
get Void or Crippling Fear, which are both very good level 1 spells. And
Ah.
that also means you can go 2-1-0 in lane. You can have your level 2 Void, which is a lot of damage,
Mhm.
level 1 Crippling Fear, which is a very long and powerful silence, and still have extra movement speed and attack speed during lane.
Yeah. I don't know. It definitely. I'm completely with you with this one. All right, we're gonna put him. He's the first hero to go into S tier. Congratulations, Night
Mm,
Stalker. He's very happy with himself. All
mm.
right, now if there's one offlaner who we can say this patch is about, it has to be Slardar, right? There's so much more water everywhere flowing. The shape of water. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Slardar did get some buffs, it seems like, at least to his innate ability. Guardian Sprint seems slightly weaker, but better in the facet. What else is there? It's a lot of changes. I'm not quite sure where he ends up overall, though, but that's why you're here. How do you feel about Slardar this patch?
So he did lose the bonus damage of creeps with bash, which I think is the
Yes.
biggest change to the hero itself. The other changes seem a bit minimal and it's kind of neutral. So I
Mm.
would say the hero itself got a very small nerf
Mm.
because I think you should mostly farm with Slivering Crush anyway. I mean the bash nerf is significant, but
Yes.
I do not think you should have maxed bash anyway. Especially now, I think you should put 1 point in bash, and then max Slivering Crush and
Mm.
Guardian Sprint, so you can go around the map very fast, farm creeps with Slivering Crush. Make sure you have the mana for it. And the fact that there's a lot more water around the map
Mm.
could definitely impact him a lot.
Okay.
Like whereas before, I think this here would have been D or C, like just the abundance of water and being able to just have like extra armor, region, and movement speed, like in like half the map, might push this hero to like a B tier, maybe even A. It's hard for me to estimate because I haven't played the hero much.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that the Seaborn Sentinel is also a lot better at all levels. Like, what does this thing scale with? It scales with Crow's of 8, but you still get a decent amount of extra healing and,
Yeah,
regen.
exactly.
Yeah, like it does, not a massive amount, but it does add up. I don't know,
Hmm.
I feel like he wasn't changed that much. It's more of the map than the hero himself was changed.
I think the hero's probably more of a mid hero. On mid,
Mm.
especially
Yes, yeah, makes
level
sense.
one, you're always in the river. You have so much extra region. You can just gank the side lane so easily. I think it might actually, it's probably better on mid than on offlane right now. But as an offlane, I think with the changes, it probably has the potential.
All right. Well, let's put him very much in the middle. Let's put him at the B tier. Is that all right with you?
I think that's acceptable. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Like we'll put him in B tier. Slardar. Ugh, our B tier has Doom, Bristleback, and Slardar. All right. Another watery hero is Tide Hunter. The Krill Eater used to reduce base strength. Now it doesn't do that anymore. So you only get the extra, zero point 0.5 strength gain along with that growing anchor and size. And Kraken Shell has 50% block value against creep and can be activated to double the block. I've seen the activation in some of these pubs. It seems quite a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. If you have level 2 Kraken Shell,
Mm.
you basically block 70 damage. And like
It's
when people are level 3, you do not have more than 70 damage. So you basically
no.
do not take any damage from right clicks if you get 2 points in Kraken Shell, which is, a lot.
There's a
It does lose
lot.
the movement speed, but ideally,
You don't
if
care.
you press that, you're already like under the tower,
Mm.
and then as long as they can't finish you, and you press the blubber, it is strong. It is strong.
Mm.
About the facets, I think the Kraken's spell facet is just really good.
Yeah.
If you're doing well, you build up a lot of extra stacks, especially now with the new facet that you can double it. You get a few kills, you get to
Oh,
100 damage block. You press it, you get 200 damage block. It's pretty good.
that's
And
insane.
the Krill Eater facet is interesting. I think you get was it zero point 0.4 more strength per level?
I think it's zero point 0.5 because you go from 3.6 to 4.5. So you get
0.5. Okay,
5 strength every 10 levels. It's
it's
something.
it's something.
Mm.
And now you don't start with less strength, but you do start with less anchor smash radius
Yes.
and attack range. And I think for the lane, you sacrifice too much laning potential
Mm.
for the little bit of extra range and strength later on. I think, and you also missed up on the extra Kraken Shell stacks. So I
True.
think overall you should still go for Kraken Swell.
Mm.
That being said, the hero is good. I think the hero likes buying Vladimir's Mage Slayer Blink. The card is good. It's a very hard hero to kill.
Mm. Harder now than ever.
Exactly, it's hard and ever to kill. It's the hero can play solo and lane. When you get level 3, you get 2 points of Kraken Shell. The support can do the plus 4 can do whatever he wants to start roaming. I think this hero is a very very solid B hero.
Really?
Maybe
Oh,
even- I wouldn't.
uh,
I don't know if I would put him in A, but he's definitely high B,
high
in my
B.
opinion.
I don't know. When you were saying you were like, kind of talking him up so well, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna go A, but high B.
Well, in the end, the hero just doesn't scale that much. He becomes
True.
very tanky, but he will never really do damage.
Oh,
You can
that's
buy an Axe, and then you will slow heroes a lot. You'll be very annoying, but you'll
mm,
never do that much damage. And there's also a new break in the game. I don't know if like
Kanda.
Kanda now
Yeah.
is an extra break. I don't know if you can buy this item. Maybe it's too bad to buy. But
All right. Let me tell you, as a support player, 5,900 gold to buy a break is really expensive. Like I know the buildup is nice, but some heroes don't even want phylactery, and now it's like I gotta get Kanda to break someone. It's not cheap.
yes, yeah, it looks very rough to buy this on any hero. I can't think of a hero that wants to buy this item right now, but maybe, who knows?
All right. Well, to move this along, we're gonna put Tide Hunter in B, but we're gonna put him in high B, as you mentioned. So
There
he's
we
going
go.
all the way to the top. Now, next one, Timbersaw. What are the changes for Timbersaw? Not much. The mana cost for Twisted Chakram as well as Chakram was increased by quite a bit. And and you have your level 20 talents. Instead of magic resistance, you get extra healing when you destroy trees. Seems like
I think it's a very big nerf.
which one? The
The,
magic resistance or the chakram?
all of them actually.
Ooh.
All three of these changes are very big, I think. The level 20 talent was really, really powerful.
Yeah, 20%.
It 20% is a lot, and it re it was really perfect with Timbersaw. It because you're building to be tanky. By the time you get level 20, you usually have like 3,000 HP, maybe even more. So having like 20% more magic resistance was very, very powerful, and missing that is significant.
Uh-huh.
And then also the chakram mana cost increases a lot, especially for twisted chakram. You go to it used to be really nice that it was only
Oh yeah.
100 mana later on. You would never run out of mana if you manage it properly, but now 180 mana for the spell is a lot.
Mm.
Also, less damage level 1. It would fast twice. So instead of doing 220 pure damage, and now there's 200s. So
Yes.
that's like, yeah, almost 10% less damage, or a little more than 10% less damage. That
Mm.
is significant.
Um.
And also the main chakram mana cost from 75 to 100 is a huge increase in mana.
Mm.
If you calculate how much, and also less damage, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that as well, less damage. If you would calculate how much damage you get per mana with chakram, I think it got reduced by like what 40% or something, like
It's
30-40% less damage for each mana you spend, something like that. It's a big change. I would have put this hero probably in B tier before, but now
mm.
I think this hero has to be C.
Yeah, but the one thing about the magic resistance also is that firstly, you 7 health per tree destroyed seems kind of lame, and secondly, I'm not always destroying trees. I might be fighting in the river. I might be fighting Roshan. There might not be trees, whereas 20% magic resistance is permanent forever.
Just like when you're dying, you're
Yeah,
not gonna be destroying trees. You're gonna die when you're getting stunned and when you need magic resistance. Not
yeah.
you're not gonna need healing from fucking trees.
I want to open the
The
Dota
Chakram
buff.
Slam is not the worst talent though.
Uh,
The Chakram Slow is not a bad talent, so
mm.
you just go for that one. It's not the end of the world, but still 20% magic resistance was really nice.
Now, I sometimes don't read every change, but then I look at them like 20% magic resistance. Okay, we lost. We got 7 heal per tree. That seems like such garbage to me. I don't know how to.
I think it's a joke.
All right, so we're putting him in C tier for Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Poor Timbersaw, man. Oh, Amar will be sad. All right, next one's a hero we haven't seen for quite some time, and he didn't get much changes either. It is Underlord. Level
You are wrong.
only thing changes
He
sorry, you were going.
you are wrong. He got one of the biggest changes of the patch in my opinion.
Ah, what was that?
They introduced a new item. Well, they main items for specifically for him. The
Which
new Gleipnir is I think is just catered to Pitlord.
yeah.
The hero itself didn't get many changes.
Mhm.
True, he did lose a nice level 10 talent, but he used to really like Bloodstone for the AOE increase.
Yes.
But the lifesteal and the spell lifesteal
Not great.
wasn't exactly. You need
Mm.
more tankiness. But Aethos has always been like a staple of the hero.
Ah.
Like, Aethos has always been nice, and now you get to buy an upgraded Aethos that also increases your AOE. So your Pit and your Q, which are some of the strongest spells in the game, now get extra AOE.
Wait. I think I can check some of the stats on. Sometimes want to look at the stats of the. Oh, that's my stats. I don't want to see that. The trends of the hero. I can't see what from it. Unfortunately, the Dota client is kind of ass. But yeah, when you mentioned that way, the Gleipnir on him, it does feel like that is because you're right. Atos, right? How much was the that was the Pit Atos Pit activates again. Pit now does
Exactly.
damage, which means that you get the extra damage out of it as well. But yeah,
hmm
Gleipnir seems pretty good.
Now it's Pit, Gleipnir, the whole team. Maybe you get a 5-man Pit into 5-man Gleipnir, and they get Pit again. You're rooting people for 5 seconds. The Pit is huge as well, so
Mm.
combined with the Pit of Malice and even with the Aghanims. If you buy Gleipnir Aghanims, if you get there in late game, the Pit is absolutely huge.
Nice.
Combine that with the level 15 slow talent or the level 25 extra root talent, it's really hard to fight in later on against Pitlord when the BKBs run out.
Mm.
So it's a very nice change for him that he's able to buy the Gleipnir right now. It's
Mm.
it's very nice. I'm not sure how good it's gonna make the hero. I
Mm.
think situationally it can be good now. So before he was definitely a D hero. He just didn't have anything going for him.
Mm.
He was an aura buyer that just
Was
didn't do
sad.
much outside of that. But now being able to buy Gleipnir, he's gonna have a lot more impact in team fights. I think outside of just buying auras and being tanky.
Yeah, I
So I
mean,
think he's
mm.
definitely a solid C tier hero. Maybe even B right now. Maybe the Gleipnir is that good. I haven't tested it yet. I have to test it.
All right. No, he does seem like He feels certainly like when you talk about that in the Glebner, I'm like, oh shit, you're right. Like I hadn't thought about it because I again don't play him, but does feel like you usually are able to root multiple people. Pit is pretty big, like you mentioned. Get two of them stuck together, throw a Gleipnir. I like a lot. I think that that's a good point. I'll let you decide B or C because I just don't see the hero too much.
I would put it the middle of C.
Middle of C. All right, we're gonna put him middle of C. So
Definitely has a lot of potential.
Underlord, middle of C. All right, there we go. All right, next one. I don't know if she can classify her as an offline hero or not, but Broodmother. She did get a massive change to one of her facets, which is the spin web. Went from 30% less regen to 70 at max.
Yeah, it
Uh,
seems like a lot.
that doesn't seem like a lot. That seems huge to me. I've seen some, like, you get a couple of levels and it's already 30, 50%. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge. Um, and she also got a lot of extra stats. We didn't touch about this, but a lot of the universal heroes either got more stats or were changed to something else and still got more stats. So she got like +6 strength gain, +8 agility, +6 intelligence, an extra 2 stats total per level up.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like is a lot better than like you lose some damage, but you also gain attack speed and durability. So I think you kind of come up okay in that situation.
I do think Brood was a hero that benefited a lot from being a universal hero.
True, item wise, yeah.
Because the items the hero wanted to buy, like
Stat
think of
heavy.
it, it's soaring,
Echo Saber.
it's his strength, so you
Mm,
used to get damage from exactly Echo Saber, you used
mm,
to get damage from Echo Saber. Sanjash was renounced. I mean, you still get decent stats from Sanjash, decent damage from it as an agi hero.
yep.
But mostly the harpoon. The harpoon gave you so much damage on
Mm.
brute mover, and now it gives you 10 damage. It used to give you, I think before it gave you like 45 damage, and now it gives you 10. So
Ah,
you're gonna have to people are gonna have to reinvent some brute builds to carry. Orchid also used to give you 7 damage, now it gives you nothing.
mm. Fair points.
Soaring, and he also has less damage again. The fact that she has more stats is nice.
Mm,
More agi, more int, more strength, so you're gonna have more HP, more armor, but a lot less damage.
true.
It's hard for me to estimate, but I think this here is probably a carry. I think as an offlane, I would personally just put it in D tier. I think this is a hero for specialists or spammers who like abusing spiders and AFK farming for 30 minutes to get to timex.
Mm.
But as a true offlane hero, I think this hero is D.
All right.
I might be wrong on that, but I personally right now I wouldn't play this hero.
Okay. I can't wait for her to show up and like being played by someone by some amazing probably Seb and he wins every game with it so 7 in a row or something.
Maybe the upgrade to the buff to the facet's too much. It does seem like a lot of
Seventh,
region
yeah.
reduction, but it's region. It's not healing reduction. So
Mm,
like you're not gonna stop like the healing from a stick or a mech.
mm.
It might be good against heroes like Alchemist now. Like Alchemist is gonna heal a lot less from it, so it might have some.
Maybe.
Or against Morphling, I think it also like applies to Morphling's morph. So maybe in some matchups it has like a lot of
Mm,
potential, but I think I think it's more a carrier in mid, honestly, right now.
okay. All right. By the way, if a hero you think is not offlane, just tell me we can remove them from the list because we're very
It should be on the list because Brute isn't a classic offlane hero,
uh,
but it's just bad as an offlane hero right now, I think. Unless you're just you really like the hero, any hero on this list you can make work if you're good at it.
true. I
But
like, but nothing's more fun than when you enter a game and the other person picks Broodmother, 26 wins in a row, and you're like, oh, here it comes.
yeah,
This isn't gonna be
that's a
fun.
classic.
All right. Broodmother is D tier. Next one, we're about 10 heroes left or so. Viper firstly is he an offlane hero or is he not an offlane hero?
Yes, Viper is still offlane hero.
Uh,
Also
oh
mid, but
oh yeah.
yeah,
So
mid or
Viper.
offlane, go for it.
Sorry, sometimes there's a bit of gap, but Viper, your Nether Toxin, you also get it when you nosedive, which is I think his Aghanim's upgrade. Your level 10 talent, the magic resistance removed, you get +1 second of Viper Strike duration, his ultimate. You no longer become universal, but your Nether Toxin radius increases by 25 every half second, or 50 by every second. Haven't seen Viper for a long time, so I can't really evaluate how it seems cool. I don't know. I feel like
So
I think the level
the
10
change,
talent was better, the old one.
I'm not so sure about that.
Mm.
So I think the axe change is probably insignificant. I don't think you want to buy the axe too often. It just doesn't give you all that much. In the end, all it does is just slow attack speed more, right? You have like a small disarm. Is it
Hmm.
still disarm? I don't think
No,
it does.
you cover them with your corrosive skin.
Yeah. So
So, does
corrosive skin just gives you 4 times the attack speed if against melee heroes. So maybe in some matchup that's really useful.
it,
Um, and you put a never toxin as well, so that's nice that you put a never toxin. If you combine that with caustic bath, you're gonna
mm,
be really tanky with the Agnums. It's gonna be very hard enemies to kill you. The level 10 talent, the corrosive skin damage break is actually better, I think, than the other one most of the time. If you're playing as really tanky heroes that you and they didn't have many dispels, you could
mm,
get the poison
20.
tech magic resistance reduction. It did help in bringing down really tanky heroes.
Yeah, 20
But if you're the
damage.
one getting gone on,
Mm.
20 corrosive skin damage per second, especially combined with the caustic bath facet, you put never toxin on yourself, and you have that facet, you basically deal over 100 DPS with corrosive skin.
So I feel like you are really liking the changes to Viper, or you're seeing it as all kind of positive. I also
I mean,
I didn't
it,
like the 25 becoming universal, especially because now the universal's so nerfed anyway. The damage like doesn't feel like you get any benefit.
y- yeah,
Uh,
it was nice. It was nice
yeah,
because
when you get
you used to get. I played. I had quite a few Viper games where I
mm,
got to level 25. You get if you have like normal items, you got like 140 damage or something. It was a lot of damage. But the Viper Strike, I mean, especially since
mm,
you mostly pick Viper for the Viper Strike, I
yep.
think. You pick him for the lane and for the Viper Strike. You pick it if you're playing against a Bristleback or a Bloodseeker or a Spectre. You want to put the Viper Strike on them, so that they get broken and they can't do anything for 6 seconds. So the extra second of duration of Viper Strike might actually be really good as well.
Mm, uh, well, again,
And the,
I feel like I'm so not interested in Viper, but I still want to know where do you fall? Do you think where does this hero become as an offense? He feels like he's still the same mostly, just better break.
I mean, I really like the hero, but
Mm.
I think overall the hero is kind of a D tier hero, maybe
Oh,
below C. It's
oh.
just there's
Mm.
mm, it is harder to the hero is very vulnerable to ganks. That's the problem. The hero, if an enemy support comes over, there's not much you can do apart from try and fight back.
All
Maybe
right.
in C actually. I wouldn't put him as far as D. I would put him in C myself.
Yeah, I feel like as a pub, you might get a nice matchup. You're up against some sort of weak laner like
Mm-hmm.
anti-mage. Well, I don't know if anti-mage counts as weak laner now, but some melee laner. You have a nice range with
Mm-hmm.
you. It's pretty good. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, the hero still has a lot of potential.
Next one is Necrophos. This is a hero I play quite a bit. I don't know if he falls as off lane, but firstly, his Heartstopper is better at early levels, but it's slightly smaller. And Ghost Round, now when you use it with the Rapid Decay, you also, what do you call that? You make them lose their restoration by the same amount as you get. So they heal less while you heal more. Uh, Before it was
Uh-huh.
just to be, they slow them and you move faster. Seems like it's all positives, kinda. Oh, and Ghost Shroud also affects lifesteal and spell lifesteal, which seems like those are very nice buffs. If you have it with especially the new enhancements that give you lifesteal.
You don't lifesteal up your Heartstopper aura though.
That's true, but
I think
mm.
I think this hero is some secret mid or carry hero where you buy Radiance. I do not see this hero as an offlane.
Ah,
As an
okay.
offlaner, you will aim to buy items that make you tanky. You'll
Mm.
buy like a halberd or a pipe. And I just don't think Necrophos does that very well.
Ah. Oh.
I would put him in D tier for sure. I think I
Oh.
really like Necro. Necro's one of my favorite heroes. I used to
Me
always love
too.
playing Necrophos. So it pains me to say, I don't think the hero is very viable as an offlaner. I think you should play him as a carry.
Mm.
When you see a Timberstar or something, some melee hero you can really own. You can go Radiance,
Mm.
Travels, BKB, Refresher, Shivas, stuff like that. You want to go big on this hero. I think being an offlaner, having to buy auras, being exposed on the
Mm.
offlane is yeah, it's just rough for Necro in this patch with the portals. He just gets rotated on so easily.
All right. I guess that you make good points. Oh, I can't believe he joins Broodmother. Can you imagine Necro and Broodmother are a combo? But you're right. He does feel like he needs a lot of big items to be useful. And if he's gonna get cheaper items, then there are better heroes to carry those cheaper items. So
Hmm.
as an offlane, he is meh. Poor Necro.
Exactly.
All right, next one. It is Beastmaster. So Beastmaster, the big changes seem to be to Call of the Wild, which now has, firstly, the shard doesn't decrease the cooldown; it increases the duration. And you have to take the level 10 talent to get the same benefit as before, which is that you have the two hawks for at least 5 seconds.
The
Uh,
shard was kind of a meme anyway, I think.
oh,
And the shard was never that impactful, I think.
oh. Well,
It's not a very impactful change.
in that case, he does slightly more damage at level 1, and he has slightly better intelligence and agility, quite a bit more intelligence actually, but he has less damage at max level. Since you mostly use the drum agonyms build, I didn't feel like that matters too much that he lost damage at level 30.
Y- Yeah, I mean you're right. You do right click, so you do lose a bit of right click damage. But on the other hand, you do get a lot more stat gain. You'll
True.
have more armor. You'll have more mana, less mana issues. It means you get a you'll never have mana problems to buy refresher. Once you get level 7 and you farm stacks, you also have a little bit more int, so that helps farming the stacks. The hero was already really strong, one of the
Mm,
strongest heroes of the patch, and it didn't get nerfed in my opinion. I
mm.
think it's like like maybe a very small nerf.
Yep.
But then again, he does have the new camps that you can farm.
Uh,
Beastmaster hero that can you can lose your lane on Beastmaster, and having those camps, I think will make it so that even if you lose your lane, you will never really fall behind.
I.
So
Mm,
I do think the hero is still A tier,
oh.
in my opinion.
And
At least in high mortal pubs.
7 damage at level 1 is also quite a lot, you know, like that does add up, and it's only once I think you hit like level 8 that your damage is the same as it was, and then slightly decreases, but you know, at level 8 the laning phase is usually
Yeah,
done.
well, you will still buy you like 5 branches or stick 3 branches level 1.
Uh-huh.
And you missed out on like how much if you buy 6 you're gonna miss out on like two
One and a
damage from
half.
6 sticks now, so your damage level 1 will be like increased by 4 or 5.
Good point. I forgot that. Yeah, he's
But
universal.
still, 4 or 5 extra damage level 1 is nice.
It is.
So I think overall the hero the changes are pretty neutral.
Okay. So, and you think he's an A tier here, right?
I think so, yes.
All right. That's why he joins Dawnbreaker. Lucky her. All right. Brewmaster. Now, this guy got. Sometimes I'm surprised when heroes get nerfed, and I haven't seen that for a while. But let's see. His base damage was increased at level 1 by 2, but obviously you lose a lot more damage. So the roll out the barrel is slower, but does more damage. His innate ability is slightly better, but the drunken brawler is a bit slower. Level 20 talent seems like it's a lot of touch here, touch there, add little here, add little there. Is he overall better? Is he worse? Where is he?
I think he's noticeably worse. It's
Noticeably.
just the damage gain. Most universal heroes they
Mm,
had their base damage increased,
mm. Or
but because the
stats.
universal changed,
Mm,
like it ended up being neutral.
yeah.
So he gets 2 more damage to level 1,
Yes.
but that will still be less because you will still buy stats on this hero. You need
Yep.
lyric damage. You will still buy a circular triple branch, so you will lose out on damage to level 1 anyway.
Mm.
And he didn't get any stats
Nope. Poor
compared to other
guy.
heroes. He just loses 2 damage per level. It's a lot. You're level 4, you have 8 less damage, and this is a
Yes.
hero that all he does in lane is right click. You use your evasion and your speed to just right click the enemy. So I think this damage change is pretty bad for him.
Yep.
The extra damage from barrel is like whatever.
Mm.
Like level 2 barrel, you do 10 more physical damage. It doesn't seem that good to me. 30 more level 4, it seems very insignificant. That change. The
But
bonus attack damage on belligerent. I mean, the innate is kind of a meme. It's not horrible. You come out of ult, you right click a little bit, you can do some extra damage, but it's more than like accounted for in the damage reduction. So
yes,
you'll still end up losing a lot of damage. Also, less movement speed on drunken brawler is a nerf.
1%. But yeah, it adds up when you're moving between camps and things like that. It's not the biggest deal if you use the waterways. But I like what you were saying also. If you look at it, you only have more damage level 1, and then level 2 you're equal to before. Even if you stake stats, you're behind anyway. And then after that, your damage just decreases by a lot.
Yeah, and this hero really likes having damage from
Yep.
stats. This hero used to just have a lot of damage. Like it used to be really nice that you can buy whatever you want,
Mm,
and because you used to have a lot of damage from being universal, you used to scale well.
mm.
Now you come out of you come out of your ulti, you're gonna have what, like 120 damage to level 30. You're not gonna do any damage, even with the small buff to the innate. So I think this hero is D tier.
Oh,
Honestly, I think this hero was already kind of bad, like C tier. Now with this damage change, the fact that he just didn't get any
mhm.
stats, they nerfed his attribute, but they didn't give him back any stats, and he was already bad. So I think he got severely mistreated in his Probably a D tier hero dispatch.
Poor guy. Well, I feel the same though. I love that he lost so much. Every other hero who has either been because it stayed universal or changed from universal to another thing has gained stats like a
Yeah, it's
lot.
like against that. So even if they have less damage, they'll have more armor and
Yep.
attack speed or mana. And Brewmaster
Broodmother
just got
got
nothing.
two. She got two stats. Two. Like that is a lot. Two stats extra per level. But
Mhm.
not brew. All right. Next one is Enigma. Enigma damage is also decreased by quite a lot. Level one, your damage is decreased by one, but and it you lose an extra two per level. But your facet gives you way more slow, the event horizon, by 5 from 15 to 20. That's actually a big deal. Like when you calculate it.
At max level black hole.
Mm. True.
And and it's not. That's, I don't think it's gonna take much effect.
Mm.
If Enigma if you put this facet on a bristleback or a centaur and they run it, enemies are running away from you. They move 20% slower. That would be huge.
Yes.
But Enigma's a backliner. Enigma, unless you're playing with some weird build where you cannot cast black holes, so you just build items to be tanky and you go Crimson Guard and Halberd and stuff. It could work, but most of the time you're a backliner,
Mm.
and later on you're not gonna have yours running away from you. They're gonna run at you, and this facet does nothing. I think that the other facet will still always be better.
Mm. The other fast, yes.
Getting some extra idlums when you're dying, often happens like the support goes on you.
Mhm.
And because they kill you, you spawn some idlums, and then you can kill them back, or you can run away with idlums, farm some creeps. The splitting image facet is pretty nice,
Mm.
so I would never get Event Horizon,
Ah.
personally.
So all he really did was lose a bit of damage
A little
on.
bit, but most of your damage comes from your
Doesn't matter.
idlums anyway.
Uh, uh,
The drum change is quite significant for him because Enigma is one of the few in the game that always buy drum. Enigma is always
using.
drum first,
Yeah.
and I am not sure yet how I feel about it. I think overall it's a buff to him because he will still buy drum,
Mhm.
but he will not have to upgrade to Boots of Bearing.
Yes.
That
Uh,
means you can get your your blank BKB faster, so you can start getting the game-winning black holes faster.
I really like the drums change because, like, for heroes like Spirit Breaker, you want drums. Drums are super good, but you also want phase boots. And I don't want to buy phase boots and drums because if I buy drums, I want boots of bearing. But I don't have that.
Exactly.
But now I can buy drums and phase boots, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm
Yep.
perfectly happy. But
Yep.
back to Enigma, I love your point about Event Horizon because for me, I see it as like 5% more slow, super good. But you're like, yeah, when do you actually use it as Enigma, which is very rare.
Mm,
Uh, s-
exactly.
so where does Enigma go though? He's still Enigma, no real changes.
For me personally,
Mm,
it's one of my best heroes right now.
mm,
I have. If I look at my Enigma page, I'm 18 and 2, my last 20 games. For me personally, I would put it an S, but
mm,
overall, I mean, it might actually still be an S tier hero. The fact that you buy auras, the fact that you're such a strong lane,
mm,
and you buy the aura items, scale really well, and now you can get the BKB blink faster.
mm.
I personally would put him in S tier, and also on Pro Tracker, his win rate has been good for a really long time. If you look at high immortal pups, right now it's still decent on 53%.
Mm.
So
I'm glad with that because I also think if you are playing pubs as Enigma, you have a lot of potential to change the game and win it.
mhm,
Whereas some
exactly.
heroes, if you are playing as them, you can't win the game solo. Like Viper, you're not gonna win the game solo as an offlaner. Whereas
Mhm.
Enigma, you can change the
You
trajectory
have
of
the
the game.
potential to completely stomp your lane if you
Yeah.
use Erlen as well, and you have the complete, and then later on you have the potential to change team fights with your black hole. So
Mm.
I think here's S tier.
All right. She goes to S. All right. Next one. I don't know if you count her as an offlaner or not, but I put Death Prophet. Is she an offlaner?
I don't have her on my personal list for heroes I play, but it probably is an offlaner if it's anything. If the
Uh,
hero is anything.
Uh, all right then. So she is now universal. She has more damage gain, but not much. She went from 3 to 3.6, which I don't feel like is much of an increase for them. I mean, of course,
Mhm.
the inverse is not much. They moved one of her facets, the suppress, and Spirit Collector is now better, which is the nice thing is that when you kill people with it active, you instantly get the spirit and you store it for the next one, which is pretty
Mhm.
cool. So, but you get less movement speed, but you get better cooldown reduction. I don't know. That seems like it comes off as a neutral change for witchcraft. Although maybe movement speed's better actually. Mm. So yeah.
Hard for me to say. The biggest change is that
Mm,
you're universal here now. So that
still.
allows you to buy new items that give you some damage in lane. Like
Mm,
you can just buy double brace right now in lane, maybe.
mm-hmm.
Or maybe you still go null so you get spam your Q. I imagine you still just go double null in lane.
Yep.
Uh, the, the fastest change, I think the spirit click is probably a meme. Getting like one extra spirit if you kill a hero.
Eh.
You're usually only gonna be killing one hero with this, and getting one extra spirit that's a bit stronger doesn't seem like a lot. The morning rich, however, is pretty big.
I like that one a lot.
A lot of your damage gets delayed. I think if you play Defro, you have to like make that fast at work.
It's 45% damage. Holy shit. I remember it being a
Yeah, that gets
lot.
delayed.
Yeah, 45.
There's cool things you can do as well.
Mm,
If you the damage delayed,
mm,
there's a cool interaction where if you buy a Ghost Scepter,
yeah.
the delayed physical damage will you will dodge if you press. So if you get attacked, let's say by a TA,
Yes.
3 times in the span of a second, if you
Go
press
some.
Ghost Scepter after you've been hit, the damage that's coming after that's been delayed, you
Uh-huh.
will not take it.
That's.
So you'll actually dodge a lot of damage with Ghost Scepter. That's a cool interaction. I haven't experimented with the hero
Mhm,
myself for a long time. I don't see anybody experimenting with
mhm,
it. If you're very good on the hero, I'm sure you can make it work. But
mm.
overall, this is a D tier for me.
Aw, D for Death
I think it's
Prophet.
just too slow.
Poor thing.
Doesn't have much good items in the meta probably.
Oh.
Like I don't really know what do you buy on DP and you're happy with. I don't think
Uh,
you're really happy buying Greaves Pipe right now.
maybe Gleipnir? I mean, she used to buy ATOS, right? It's like sometimes,
Yeah, you could buy the eight. But what AOE are you gonna increase? Cryptstorm AOE increase sounds like a meme. The
uh,
silence AOE increase also doesn't sound too valuable.
you get it. You're right. I like her, but I completely agree with you because I don't see her either in my pubs the 8K or your pubs at 15K. So it's like
Mhm.
she's nowhere to be found. We'll put her at
Mhm.
D. Move on to Magnus.
Mhm.
Magnus. Um, he has 7 damage at level 1, but he gets 1.5 less damage growth. So about level 5, you have less damage. Your intelligence gain increased by zero point 0.5. That's a lot. So that's 5 intelligence every 10 levels. That's pretty
Mhm.
good. You do have completely new facets. And
Mhm.
skewer, the shard was also changed where shard is now on the skewer when you put people through extra
Mhm.
damage when you hit trees and cliffs. Um, lot of changes. I would. I feel like there's also the shockwave one is a support facet. The internal empowerment is a core facet. Is that correct?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Oh, however, I do think that support Magnus
Mm,
was really lying on the shard. You buy the shard,
mm,
and the shard alone was really, really powerful. Now that the shard isn't that powerful
mm,
anymore. I think support Magnus lost a lot of value. I think
mm.
playing for Magnus right now without the shard is hard. I
Oh,
might be wrong, but that's my read on it. And
but
the two facets,
mm,
I haven't worked it out yet. I think the Eternal Empowerment facet seems really nice.
mm,
You save a lot of mana not having to empower yourself.
that's
You
true.
get a little bit of extra damage and cleave. So if you're playing to right click, it is very powerful. But even if you're playing offline, I
Mm,
think the shockwave facet should still be really good
mm,
because now you get most of the power of the facet uh just for free.
yeah,
Well, it takes a skill point, but a skill point is not as
it's not a big
is,
deal.
is a lot less valuable than having to buy a shard for 1400 gold.
And you also have a facet because before you just picked RP and you did actually have
Exactly,
a facet.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So you just have this fast for free, right? So Empower just got straight up. You either
better.
get a way stronger Empower or
Yep,
you get the shard for free.
yep. That's
So
mm.
yeah, losing out on the universal damage is significant. Also, Shockwave costing a bit of extra mana is significant. But then again, Skewer is buffed because in the past you didn't
Mm,
like skewering through cliffs did extra damage,
yeah,
but when did you ever skewer over a cliff? It was kind of rare and
or
hard to
trees.
pull off,
Yeah.
especially in lane. Like you could see that some pro players, so Mickey for example, when he played safely Magnus on Dire, he used to like abuse that cliff, that little crack,
Mm-hmm.
because that would count as a cliff, so you would do extra damage if you skewered from there, and that would be nice. But now you could just skewer them all the way back and deal a lot of extra damage. I played Magnus already. I think the skewer change is pretty big. You do a lot less damage now. A lot more damage
Mm.
now.
Because of the distance and
Um,
with the shard as well.
yeah, in late game the shard is not bad. 275 extra casters for skewer is really nice.
Mm. Well,
So I think overall the hero just got buffed, and I think the hero was already very very strong. So I think this hero is S tier, honestly.
I completely agree. I think the best. I mean, there's so much to go with, but I like your point about the fact that you have facets now. You're empower. You want to
Mm.
take. You have a better empower. Congratulations, 50% more or something like that. Or you get the free shard for a skill point. It's completely worth it. And Magnus definitely. And as we mentioned, this is a pub list, and Magnus is amazing in pubs. So,
Mm.
all right, three
Yeah,
more.
you have a very strong lane, and you have it's very similar to Enigma. You have a very strong lane where you're able to just kill people, shockwave skewer, and then change the game with an RP.
I like a lot. Three more. My first one is Sand King. So he got his damage level one was rescaled, which means that it used to be, from zero. You get like a range of 8. Now it's a range of 10. It was 46 to 54,
Yeah, so
45.
it's basically the same.
Same thing, same
Yeah,
average, which is 50.
same average, which is all we care about.
Yeah. Slightly more stats gain, slightly more stats. For strength, you start off more. Agility and intelligence get plus, point 0.2. Whatever. You lose a little bit of damage. I don't know if that's a big deal for the hero, especially like
Oh,
for
in the
Sans.
lane it is.
And you have more Caustic Finale as a level 10 talent instead of Burrow Strike Stun, which I like the stun. I thought stun was really good.
Yeah, that stun talent was really good. The over talent level 10 is just bad. Now the new one is also horrible. So now you have two horrible level 10 talents. You should probably take stats over it, honestly. Uh, yeah, this hero has absolutely massacred. I thought the hero was a bit underrated.
Mm-hmm.
People like not picking it at all last patch. Apart from 3-3, he pulled it off because they're really good at playing around stacks. And the
Yep.
hero had some potential. But big change is they removed Bloodstone, right? They removed the AoE on Bloodstone.
That's yeah.
That was the item that really made this hero into a valid pick. You used to be able to just go Bloodstone Blink, have the extra AoE on Sandstorm, Burrow Strike, or all four spells
Mm.
benefit from the AoE. And I don't see you buying Gleipnir on Sand King, so uh yeah. So Bloodstone being nerfed combined with these other nerfs, yeah, in lane as well, you're going to lose a lot of damage.
Yep. 1.3.
Level 1, you have the same damage, but you're going to get less from your branches. So you're
Mm.
gonna end up having like 2 or 3 less damage level 1. So like when you're level 3, you're already down like 4 or 5 damage. Imagine affiliates, maybe even 6.
Yep.
So this is to the depths of B, I think.
Oh, poor guy. The
Sorry, to the depths of D, I think.
depths
This
of
hero is
D for
yeah.
dead.
You also lost an ancient stack. You also like you used to be able to stack the safe camp.
Mm.
This hero is the best ancient farmer in the game because he just with one sandstorm, you
Mm.
kill the whole ancient camp, and you don't take any damage for it because you just stay invisible.
Yep.
Because you play Sand, right? Like it's real. The Sand Shroud facet is the only real facet. Dust Devil, the Sandstorm is too small. You don't play with this facet, in my opinion.
Yep. I mean, it wasn't that nerfed in before that. In the previous patches, the duration was reduced by a lot for Sandstorm. I don't know if
It,
that
it's still it's
was.
still enough though.
Yeah.
It's still enough. Once it's max, it's still enough to like have 100% uptime. By the
But
time it expires, you'll have a new one. By the time you max it.
yep. 22 seconds cooldown, 28 seconds duration. Like you mentioned, more than 100% uptime.
Yeah.
Overall, I
So
feel.
3, you have a 4 second downtime now. That's the only nerf. That was the only nerf in the last patch. Yeah, you have a 4 second downtime. When you're farming ancients, when
Mm,
you're level 5, you have a 4 second downtime, which is not
manageable.
that big of a deal,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So yeah, so the hero's the best ancient farmer in the game because you don't take any damage. It's very hard for enemies to contest in the
Mhm.
sandstorm as well. But he lost an ancient camp. He lost a lot of damage in lane. He lost a bloodstone. I think this hero has to be yeah D for dog shit.
Poor, yeah, but poor thing. I liked when I was seeing him mid and people were playing him. He seemed very active, but
I love Sanking. I
uh,
love Sanking, but it just has nothing going for him this
uh,
patch.
all right. Let's see what other heroes who might have something going for it now. And of classic offlaner is Visage. He got a decent amount of extra stats. Level 1, his damage increased by 3, but he got zero point 0.4 strength, 1.3 agility, 0.5 of intelligence. It's like roughly almost 1.5 total stats gain. He does lose 0.9 damage, but I don't know. That's up to you how big of a thing that is. His facet Sepulture is better. It has a bigger radius and the secondary penalty is less, whereas the Faithful Familiars give less bounty. Um, yeah, I feel like it's all positive, but again, I sometimes I say, oh, it's all good, and then you're like, nah, this is all crap. It's all garbage because he lost.
So I think it's pretty. Most of it's pretty neutral. You're gonna
Okay.
have less damage in lane, from what I can see.
Mm.
The Sepulcher buff is really big. If
That's how
the
it's
hero
pronounced?
is if it's a buff, because
Spa.
50% is a lot. So if you play, this hero might be a counter to Brood Buffer now. If you play against Brood Buffer,
Mm-hmm.
and you press the AOE Grave Chill on spiders, you get like, if there's like 10 spiders, you get something like what? I can't math it out.
Ah,
Like
no.
like 300 attack speed or something.
No. It used to be, yeah, because it used to get half of it. I remember the bonuses you're getting from Secretary Guard gets doubled. You used to get a
So you get
quarter, now you get
so
half. So it's like, it's
yeah,
much
so you
better.
get 70 plus 35 per extra unit. So imagine there's 10 spiders.
Mm.
You press it, you get yeah, you get 400 attack speed. So the Sepulchre Fest might be legit because the Death Toll also got nerfed recently.
A bunch of times in the last, it feels like
Yeah, because the Death Toll got nerfed
uh,
a
uh,
few times.
twice. One of them was that it no longer provides extra gold if the target dies as it's flying. And the other
hmm
one is that the gold was from 35 per charge to 30, which is quite a lot. Like it was like 20 per.
You get a lot less gold.
Yeah. I
From
mean,
what I've seen in Proto, this hero got abandoned even by the best Visage player. Like 3-3,
mhm.
he was probably the best Visage player in the world. He completely abandoned the hero.
Ah.
Unless
Does.
the Sepulchre talent is good, which it might be, it really might be.
Mm,
The hero might really make a comeback with this facet. But
the radius is bigger as well, 250 to 300. It's not just
exactly,
50.
you're
It's
going
like,
to
yeah.
get a lot more attack speed. It's like the old style of playing Visage where you max your Q.
Mm.
But that being said, he did lose his level 10 talent where you have less cooldown, which was one of the best talents that he had.
He got lurker stats. I don't know how, what even are lurker stats? Oh, these are the
That's
innate.
when you get cooldown reduction if you get the stats, which is not that particularly useful because it only works when you're not taking damage.
Each attack grants cooldown with
You will
max.
just go at damage, I think, and I guess the damage is not horrible though.
That's true. By the way, I'm sorry if you hear anyone crying. That's my son. It's
Oh,
bedtime. Yeah, I don't know. He's like I don't want to go to sleep. Uh, I'm sorry about that. At the very end, he has to make an appearance. So is Visage you? I'm a bit unclear. But remember, he did also get a lot of extra stats, which is nice.
but you
Um,
lose damage in lane though.
fair
It's just
point.
okay. I mean, you have what did he level?
You have you have damage. You 3 damage, but you know he's
Look,
universal.
I think Death Doll is probably still D because I think if 3-3 is not
Mm,
playing Visage,
yeah.
then nobody should be playing Visage. It is it's kind of what I'm thinking.
All right.
But maybe Sepulchre's good. But if Sepulchre could be C or B. If I don't know how depending on how good it is. I haven't played it. I'm
Mm.
not sure if I'm going to play it. I think there's like better heroes. But if not for that, I would put him in D. So if you want, you can put him in C. But I would personally just put him in D. That's where I have him
No.
my own personal list.
I never play Visage. You're 10 times the offlaner I'll ever be in my life. Like, I completely bow to you in this one. Like, yep, you say D, he's D. I don't care. All
Yeah.
right, last hero. Last hero, and probably one of the most iconic offlaners in the game. It is Darkseer. Now, Darkseer has gone back to being intelligence. He has 5 extra damage at level 1, but he gets 2.3 less damage per level. So within 2 levels, you're, less. And but his quick wit facet is better. You get 1 attack speed per intelligence instead of half, so it doubles in value, which is nice. And he has a completely new innate ability. When you level up, you get 10% plus 2 times your level. So at level 10, you get 30%, 10
Mm,
plus 20 of your level
mm,
full mana and health restore, which seems like a pretty big deal at the laning stage because you're going to get like
mm,
a bunch of refills, from level 1 to 5. You're going to get like
mm.
basically a full heal at some point. So again, forget the screaming child. He's happy. So how do we feel about Darkseer? Though, I think the innate is amazing. I don't know.
Have you seen the trends pages on Dota Buff? It's a very useful patch. Whenever a new patch comes
Mm.
out, I look at the trends pages on Dota Buff.
Yeah, I did. I can't open it right now because if I do, I lose the camera.
And
This is,
and
mm,
if you look at it now,
mm,
outside of the DK, I
mhm.
mean DK got a 10% win
Of
increase because the
course.
hero is bugged. The
Uh,
hero does the passive deals double damage when you dragon. So when you
ah,
hit level 6, when you hit level 7 especially, you gain 96 magic damage per
oh,
hit.
that's fair.
And on top of that you get 20, so you get 116 damage when you hit level 6 or level 7 rather. It's yeah, the hero that hero's completely broken, does way too much damage. And the next hero
Darkseer.
is Darkseer, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Because this hero gains 6% win rate, and there's a few reasons why. The biggest one is his innate change.
Yeah.
His innate used to be the worst innate in the game. Like it used to literally have no effect. His innate used to be where at some point it was strong,
Yeah.
where you couldn't at some point you couldn't have lower int than your strength.
And you used
And
to.
you start with like the same strength int, so that means you could buy 4 gauntlets
Yep. 12 int.
and you would get 12 int. So you get
Yes.
12 strength and int level 1. It
Yes.
was a really strong build and it allowed you to have a really strong lane. And he was very
I
strong
remember
back
that.
then.
Now then became the average, and it's like I don't buy Agi. I don't care for Agi.
Exactly. I played a lot of Dark Sea games and it would never have any impact. Whichever items I bought, I always looked and it says minimum int. It would always be lower than the int I already had from other items. So it was never ever work. With no legit build would you ever like get extra int from it. So it was completely useless innate.
Yeah, I remember that again. It was like at 7.36, Darkseid was at the top. Everyone's picking pro level, very high. 7.37 dropped in. We that happened, which is that the average. I haven't seen Darkseid since then in anywhere. Like, no, I've never seen it in a pubs. Maybe I seen it in a pro game, but just the hero went invisible after that.
It was extremely situational. You'd only pick it if you really need an aura buyer, and if they have very good heroes to make illusion stuff, because his laning stage was really vulnerable. But now,
yeah,
this innate might be one of the best innates in the game.
Yes.
Right now, it gives you so much sustain in lane. It is insane.
I mean, you could argue that it only procs 29 times a game, but like that's better than Dawnbreaker's innate. That was pretty good also. With a full vision for
I mean, if you think it's gonna proc 4 times in the lane,
that's good.
that's still like almost 50% of max health amount you gain in total through the whole lane. That's a lot.
I mean, 2 levels gives you
what?
26 or something like that. Just 2 levels, max health and max mana regen.
Yeah. It's a lot. I think I've played with it and it feels amazing that you just like again you used to go from having no innate because it didn't work, it was completely useless. Now having a very powerful innate that gives you a lot of sustain in lane for a hero that wants to contest the lane very heavily. So I think combined with the other changes is that it's making this hero into a really strong. It has to be at least high A, maybe S even.
I feel like he's S. This innate, it feels really strong.
Yes.
You agree?
Him being int is also a buff, I think, because you kind of want to buy 2 nulls anyway.
Yeah.
Like the starting items that I go for now is like 2 circlets, a mantle, and 3 branches. I feel like you don't even go tangos. You just buy as much int as you can. You get the quick wit facet. You push the lane with iron shells. You get level 2. That's your sustain right there. That's your tango right there. You're level 2. And you just have insane damage. I feel like you have more than 70 damage level 1 with that build. And you have 30 extra attack speed with the quick wit. So you have insane attack speed, insane damage, insane sustain. It is probably an S tier right now.
He goes to S tier because for me, just the innate, when I saw it, I was like, at first I was like, Then you look at the old one, you're like, oh right, that innate was nothing, and now I actually get benefits. Like imagine you could level up in the middle of a fight, right? Like these big team fights, you're about to die, someone dies, you kill them instead, you get 30% heal straight up.
Yeah.
And that turns
it's amazing facet. Exactly.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
The changes to his int and to the facet are already very powerful.
Yep.
Like he gets 5 more damage level 1.
Yep. And you go.
And you have a lot more attack speed in lane and later on. And combined with getting a really powerful innate from not having one is really huge. So yeah, I think this hero deserves to be S tier right now.
All right, and that is our list, by the way. I think at the end of the video, if you watch this, you can.
Have we mentioned Primal Beast?
Primal Beast? No, we did not. I didn't know if I should put him in.
Pango, right?
Sorry, our Pango.
I feel like Pango, Ab are also missing from the list, and even Lycan as well, right?
There are a few heroes I didn't put because I felt like they were more like I don't see a Pango as much as often. He's usually mid, but. Abaddon is also like very late in the patch he came out. I wasn't sure if he's gonna stay in this patch as an offlaner. But Primal Beast we can definitely talk about. I'm glad you want to stay here. I'm very happy. But yeah, Primal Beast. Let's see, Primal. What happened to him? I feel like he got nerfed. I saw his win rate drop. Let me see. What the changes was that he lost the romp and stomp, which was that I get bonus movements.
That was a very powerful facet. You got a lot of extra damage.
It was good, but he gets a new one, Provoke the Beast. When I get stunned, hex, whatever, I get 2 uproar stacks, which is nice. But Um,
That's a meme, I think. You go for the other one.
I always felt like when I was playing Primal Beast, even as a support, within 2 seconds I'm full uproar. Like within 2 seconds I charge in, I already uproar maximum because I take it like 2 feet.
Exactly.
Like
If you get stunned or hexed, you're also gonna get hit. You're gonna have 5 stacks anyway. So yeah, it's I guess like if you get 8 tossed, you
mm,
get a stack so you can dispel it on level 15. That's like the only use I see in it. That you don't have to take damage
yeah,
to get some stacks.
yeah.
But still sounds like a meme to me.
I didn't really care about it. The pulverized frosty is better. You get extra AOE. The AOE bonus is more from 2025. It lasts twice as long and starts at the end of each slam rather at the end, which is kind of nice because you're not guaranteed to end every slam. You might be interrupted, but
Hmm.
however, he did lose the 80%, the 80 damage onslaught at 10 talent, which I thought was a very good talent because your onslaught ended up doing like 450 or 440. That was
It
really
was
good.
decent. It was very
It was
decent.
very good. Where does he fall? Because I remember I did check the other buff. I don't remember over here, but I did check. I remember Primal Beast was kind of at the bottom in terms of changes.
Yeah, I think it's mostly nerf because the old facet
Mm.
Romp and Stomp was pretty powerful.
Yep.
I think the hero was like a solid B tier hero in the
Mm.
past. Now, depending on how powerful Ferocity is, I'm not sure because if you blink BKB in with Pulverize,
It's pretty good.
afterwards you do have a lot of AoE on your W and you can do a lot of damage, especially if you press like Shiva's guard afterwards.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a huge Shiva's, a huge trample. It could have some potential,
Mm.
but overall I still think the hero got nerfed a bit. So I would personally put him in C, maybe still B actually. I do think the hero is very very powerful.
Mm. I mean, another thing
So
is that Uproar is also weaker at level one,
it
and
is. You do get less damage.
not only that, but also the slow, and that's a big deal because Uproar is your last spell to max out. So often stays level
Hmm.
one the longest, which means that you feel the nerf for a while before you get to that
Hmm.
extra, extra slow at the end, which is not. It's a change. It's a rescale. It's not a nerf, but I do feel it's a nerf because I'm using it to level one until level 13 or 11 or whatever.
Hmm.
So that feels Uproar is weaker. Onslaught is weaker because of the talent. We lose a good
Yep.
facet. Is he still B?
I'm not sure. I need to test the new facet. I would put him. Yeah, I would put him in B actually because I
All
think
right.
the hero just is pretty powerful. I think it still have a decent lane. Still have a BKB piercing ulti. I think if you play around
Mm.
BKB blinking and then using your upper to start, sorry, your
Mm.
pulverize to start the fight, you will have a lot more damage for your with your second spell as well. So I think this hero should be B tier if you play correctly.
All right, I'm okay with that. If you like, I hope I love Primal Beast. I know I used to play him as a four. He's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're so big and tanky, which feels great. As
Hmm.
a four, when you get burst down, I hate. But when you jump in, turn on blade mail, whatever. I have a high strength game in the game. Just hit me. I don't care. So I'm glad to hear that maybe Ferocity gives him some chances of life this patch.
I do think also Lycan has to be nerfed. If Lycan is not an offlaner, what is he?
All right, no problem. Let's do Lycan as well. I'm happy to hear it. Lycan. I remember he got. I think it was mostly nerfs, right? He's a strength hero.
Yeah.
Damage unchanged at level one, but you get zero point 0.8 less damage. However, you get more stats: +4 strength, +5 intelligence, but you lose a tiny bit of agility. Not so much of a factor. Your hightail is a lot weaker, and your wolves magic resistance is a lot. Well, actually, only 10% lower. It's not a big deal. Um, how is Lycan? He was the terror at the end of the patch. I'm Crystal Maiden. I have to buy Solar Crest or Midas now.
Yeah, exactly. I think this hero was definitely an A tier hero in
Mm.
the last patch. The alpha wolves were really really strong.
Uh-huh.
It was like it was terrorizing supports. You couldn't do much. You had to buy Helmut's Dominator or Midas,
Yep.
and the Hytale would be so long. They would have evasion for 8 seconds. They would be untouched for 8 seconds. I think the nerfs are quite significant.
Mm.
Him being a strength is one of them
Yes. Yeah, like you mentioned.
because you gain a lot less damage. The
Mm.
items you want to buy are also all stats items. You want
Yep.
to buy Helmut's Dominator. You want to buy Harpoon.
Yep.
You want to even buy Orchid, which now you don't get damage from. So him being a strength is definitely very bad for him.
Mm.
Even early on, you would buy Null Talisman first item to have enough mana regen. Now that doesn't give you much damage anymore. That is already a significant change.
True. And
Combining that with that your wolf, that the hightail duration is 25% shorter,
yes.
which was a really imba spell, really broken spell. So that being 25% shorter,
Mm.
and
25%.
also the wolves taking a lot more damage now from magic.
I mean,
I think it pushes the hero down a full tier, if not more than that.
of-
It's like B at best, I think, with these changes. I'm not sure. Maybe it's still strong enough.
mm,
But if I look at it lost 2% win rate.
yeah.
If I look on the Dota buff trends, which isn't a significant amount. So I would personally put him at C or B.
Mm,
Maybe B, because
mm,
if you just buy Overlord AC,
mm.
you probably don't lose out on that much damage.
No. I mean, and plus even 6 seconds of hightail is still a lot to bring down some of the weaker targets. Like it does make a difference. Like we mentioned, sometimes that last second makes like when we talked about doing 5 damage adds up to 70, which is one hit. And a lot of people can live 70 health is a lot. So at 8 to 6 seconds, I might miss out on 1 or 2 hits that could have killed someone, but 6 seconds of hightail is still a decent amount of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we are. You were saying B or C. Did you fall on
I'll
anything?
put him B.
Ah,
I'll put him on the bottom of B,
uh, B, C.
personally.
God, I despise Lycan, man. I've hated Lycan my entire Dota career. Back when Necronomicon was a thing, and he dewards the whole map, and you're like,
Necrocarry, yeah. That was Necronomicon 3 and Lycan was super broken.
no.
It was insanely broken.
Zoo patches were the worst patch as a support player. Let me tell you, like the worst patch.
For everyone. I don't think
Not for you.
offliners particularly enjoyed buying Wraith back, on Zoo Heroes every game. That was not particularly enjoyable. It was just
You,
boring.
you
You
enjoyed
win, but
winning. You what? You were doing so much work. Come on.
yeah, I pressed Wraith back, then it just you don't feel, like you play Axe, you get a 5-man call, you feel it, you feel
Yeah.
validated. You put a Wraith back down on team fight, you don't feel the impact of the Wraith back. It just silently reduces the enemy's damage. It does damage.
And
An enemy can't kill you. It doesn't feel satisfying.
it felt satisfying when they lifted the Aegis. They're like, put the Wraith pack, pick up an Aegis. That's how it worked out for them at the end. For Tundra, I think. But let's see. Is there any other hero you feel like should?
I think you should have at least Pango on there.
All right.
There's some other heroes that are like
More
popular on
niche.
offlane, right? Like
Yeah.
Phoenix and Abba. Like you don't have to have Phoenix or Abba on there, but I feel Pango you have to, because I think Pango is like 50-50 between mid and offlane, pretty much.
Fair point.
In a lot of pro teams, they draft him because it's like one of the most
Versatile.
ideal flex picks.
Yeah.
His hero is very happy going mid and offlane. It has a very, very solid laning phase.
Let's see. Pango. Level 1, damage increased by 6, agility gain increased by 0.4, but you do lose 1.8 damage per level. That's quite a lot, and as we mentioned, stat items, which is a hero. This hero does buy some stats, like Aghanim Scepter, things like that. And even like Diffusal, I don't like it gives you less damage compared to before. So you do lose quite a bit of damage. You have a lot of talent changes. The level 15, you get the 15% damage of Swashbuckle. Instead of 20, it's moved to 15. They switched it around, the 15 and 20. I think that's kind of good because I like more damage early for killing, but I don't know if you agree or not.
Yeah, his lane should be a little stronger. 6 damage level 1 is pretty nice. So you're still, even after the branches giving you less damage, you'll still have like 4 more damage level 1, which is
Fair.
significant.
Yeah.
And then once you get level 4 or 5, you start getting less damage.
Yeah.
But the hero doesn't right-click much. Most of the damage comes from the Swashbuckle and the Rolling Thunder. So losing out on attack damage, although your ult does do your attack damage, I don't think it should be particularly impactful.
What about
The damage changes are pretty neutral, I think.
the talent changes? You feel like they're
I think it's a small nerf as well, because the level 15 talent, having the extra Rolling Thunder ratio was really nice. Now you're only going to have it level 20. But the attack damage of the Swashbuckle might also be really good to have.
Yes.
Especially with the Ags build. You go Ags, level 15 already, you're going to have extra damage on the Swashbuckle.
You could also say that gives you burst, and the person dying faster could be more valuable than a longer roll at some point.
But honestly, the biggest hit for here is probably the new Orb of Corrosion, because I think Pango is very happy buying the new Orb of Corrosion now. In the past, the Orb of Corrosion was kind of shit for him because they gave him attack speed and he didn't use attack speed.
Yes.
But now, yeah, you reduce armor like you used to. You slow, which is really nice for Pango, and you get some agi, which is not horrible.
Yep. And
so I think being able to buy the new Corrosion is overall like a nice buff for Pango. So I think the hero is pretty, in terms of pure power level, is probably similar as he was last patch. And I think the hero was already pretty good last patch. I would put him in B.
No problem.
Myself.
B for Pango. All right, since you mentioned this hero, I want to actually talk about it. Phoenix. Now, Phoenix. Uh, First, again, thank you for Pango. Phoenix, strength hero. Damage unchanged, but you do get less damage, 1.3 per level. I feel like as that kind of doesn't matter. It matters, but it's not too big of a deal.
Doesn't matter much,
Yeah,
even in lane, because
yeah.
you buy bracer anyway, so you're not gonna have a lot less damage.
The big change is hotspot and the talent. Hotspot now is double the miss chance for people at the end. And if you take the level 10 talent, you get an extra 0.5. So you could be blinding someone something like 5% a second at the max with the max sun rate compared to 2 that from before. Does that mean hotspot is viable now? Because it was, in my opinion, it was always
Maybe
the
on
better.
support. Maybe on support.
Yeah,
If you play support Phoenix
yeah,
against some immobile carry heroes, you
yeah.
buy an Everlands, that might be really, really strong. I don't know.
Mm.
But on offlane, you're going to play with Dying Light because
Okay.
the kill potential and the laning potential with Dying Light is really, really high. I would not think about playing with hotspot and lane.
In
And
that,
I think this hero is a B tier offlane hero,
mm.
honestly.
He definitely doesn't seem changed by much though. Like we mentioned, a little bit less right click is whatever. The hotspot facet, since you mentioned it's not an off lane pick, doesn't matter. The talent from 20 damage, 20 slow was always so much. It feels better to me.
The 20 slow is better for sure.
Okay.
The slowdown is really good. 25% slow is a lot.
So we're not picking that anyway. So in general, he's basically the same as he was before.
He's the same. You might lose like 1 or 2 damage in lane, which is very
Yeah.
insignificant.
Yeah.
Most
Uh,
heroes got nerfed much more than that, and it's the hero just makes a lot of sense in offlane, in my opinion. You have a very strong lane.
mhm.
I think rushing Thieves on this hero is really powerful. It's very easy to take over the enemy jungle with this hero and farm the camps. Maybe the new map suits him well as well. I don't know that yet. We'll have to wait a bit. But the hero is already very strong on the offlane last patch, and it didn't get changed much. If you look at tournaments as well, the hero gets picked in almost every single pro game.
He is very
Mostly as a
popular.
5,
Yeah.
but it has potential as a lot of potential as offlane as well.
I mean, we've
Against
seen.
the right matchups. So I would put him in B.
Okay. But I mean, we've seen him also sometimes get picked up mid. It's not unusual. Like the hero is that flexible if you have a really good
The hero's
matchup.
just strong, yeah. The hero's very, very strong.
I mean, all right. So most of our heroes went up in the B tier. In the S, we have 4, which are Night Stalker, Enigma, Magnus, and Darkseer. I think that's very fair. A tier, Beastmaster and Dawnbreaker. Again, I feel like that's where they deserve. B is Tidehunter, Bristle, Doom, Pango, Slardar, Timbersaw, Phoenix, Primal, and Lycan. I know when someone says a lot of words, it's like, oh, what is he saying? But C tier, those are the poor guys. The crap tier, it's Axe, Centaur, Underlord. I feel like Underlord could go up. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe. I don't know yet.
Viper, Legion Commander, and Mars. Mars also I feel like could be B as the patch goes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
D tier, those are the dumpster heroes. Broodmother, Necro. Brew I think is the most D, deserving of D, you know?
Which hero? Brewmaster? Yeah. Brewmaster and Thanking are definitely the worst.
Poor guys.
Yeah. If you want another A hero, looks somebody, you could put Abaddon up there.
Okay.
I think Abaddon is still really powerful. I think there's lots of teams are still picking this hero in Dream League, mostly for offlane. It's a flex between carry and offlane most of the time. It's a very strong hero.
He definitely got
His
a huge
damage got nerfed a little bit.
Yes.
He has a lot more damage level 1. His
10.
damage scaling
10.
is worse, but he gets more stats.
And he actually didn't lose much. Remember, Abaddon was one of the worst. At one point, I calculate by the way, he had 4.2 stat gain at one point, like as a universal hero. So he had one of the worst damage gains anyway. And then he got buffed a little bit in stats here and there, but it was still one of the worst. Like even now, it's basically like 5 stat gain, less than 5 actually. So it was really shitty before. But he did get a lot of buffs. He got extra strength 0.4, 0.2 agility, and 0.4 intelligence. These add up to an extra 1 stats, which is quite nice, especially the agility and strength, because you're spamming a lot. And 10 damage at level 1 is one of the highest increases we've seen.
For sure. I think this hero was S or A last patch.
Yeah.
Probably S. Right now, I think he still has to be an A tier hero. The corrosion change is kind of neutral for him. Him losing level 10 talent is a bit sad because that was a really good level 10 talent.
That was
overall,
nice.
I think this hero still has to be an A tier hero.
What did he lose? He lost but you still get the other one there. The heal is pretty nice, right? The heal from Apothec.
Yeah, the region is nice.
That's pretty
if you
good.
play against like an alchemist or something, the other the Withering His meal reduction might be really nice as well. If you
I,
play against some Husker, if you play against a Husker and Alchemist, that could be really strong.
maybe Huskar, but Alchemist. The problem with it, yeah, it only works when they have less than 40% HP. It's like if I can get them there, I'm probably doing pretty well. It's getting them to below.
Yeah,
Huskar,
true.
Huskar, he does function usually at that level though, but Alchemist, like, ugh. Is the quickening good now? Seems like 6 seconds on that facet from 4 seems like a lot.
Mm, it's a hero death though. When do you ever kill heroes? You're gonna kill like
Fair point.
10 heroes in the game, and you're like using it defensively your spells.
It does proc
How many?
off assists though. Like as long as they're near him, it doesn't have to be his kills, right? Any deaths.
Yeah, but the Mephitic Shroud is really powerful. It gives
It
you a
is.
huge shield in lane. It is what makes this hero into like a monster in the lane. So maybe on post 5 Abba you can now justify getting the quickening if you want your dispel to be a lower cooldown.
He does have a
But
very.
overall, I think Mephitic Shroud is still the way to go if you're playing core Abba.
Oh, too bad. I was hoping you'd say the quickening is viable, but Abaddon does go in.
Offline, probably not.
No, yeah, no. The quickening might. Nah, Mephitic Shroud, it's insane value. It's like it's really good. You know what? When you start off with a bigger shield, it scales up to something like plus 60 at max level, extra damage or something like that. It's a really good thing. It does add 2 seconds to the cooldown, but as a core, you kind of don't care as much. You just want the strong shield. All right. I think that is all the offlaners. This did take a little bit longer than I thought, but I am again super grateful to you for your time. Like it
My
means
pleasure.
it. Thank you so much. I maybe hey if you know your teammates who want to do this, I'd love to have them because I have one person for position 5, but 1, 2, and 4 are still empty. So if anyone wants to join, feel free.
Yeah.
Um,
Ask around.
yeah, thanks. Thank you so much for this, Davai Lama, and yeah, I really appreciate it. And thanks to Hair Freak for making this happen.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Uh,
See ya.
uh,